If you are doing self-development, healing, whatever work, and those around you are not, or those around you don't get it, or you just don't feel supported, then hang around with me for a couple of minutes because this video is for you. So we can get all excited when we find new ways of being, and maybe we discover mindset work, or we're doing some healing stuff, or even like a coach comes into work and talks to you about well-being stuff, like whatever it is. And then we get all excited and we start to make these changes and we're feeling amazing. But the people in our lives don't get it, or they're not supportive, or they don't want you to change. I had a client once and her husband, she was a partner for a big four, for the big four in the big four. And one of the things that she decided she was going to do differently was that she was no longer going to do her husband's ironing on the back of like boundaries and taking care of herself. And she used to come to session, she's like, oh, my husband's so annoyed with you because I won't do his ironing anymore. Right. And that's a slightly comical example of like the changes that we make when people around us don't get it. And it can be really, really lonely when you look at like the way society is run and you're like, no, I don't want to live my life like this anymore. Like, I'm going to challenge this. I'm going to do this differently. Like, I'm not going to go with the status quo. When you're surrounded by people who are still really wedded to the status quo, it can be really, really challenging and it can feel really, really lonely. And there is a depth of loneliness that I think people don't talk about when you are surrounded by people that you care about, but you don't feel seen, heard, or understood. Like the pain is real. Okay. If you know, you know. And so I just wanted to give a couple of tips or suggestions today about what you can do with that. The first thing is you're on this journey, and really the journey is a journey back to you, and it's a journey of self-trust. So, can you continue to lean into your self-trust and really grounding into that you are on the right path for you, the changes that you are making are healthy for you, and just trust that the people that are for you will come along. They might not come along straight away, they might not come along in the same way, but they will support you when your approach and the changes that you are making are for your good and for your health. Um, Even if that means that you're not going to iron their clothes anymore, right? And then the second thing is, can you look for spaces or people? It doesn't need to be loads of people. There don't need to be loads of people that get you. Are there one or two people in your world that are on a similar trajectory who do get it, where you do feel seen, heard, and understood? And can you spend more time around those people? Because there is nothing more nourishing than a conversation with someone who actually gets you, who actually listens, who isn't there judging and all of the rest of it. Like, it's a really, really lovely thing. Um, and it doesn't matter if it's just one person. You know, there's a very small number of people in my world who truly get me and who I can have deep, deep conversations with. And it's enough, right? It's enough, it's nourishing, and it's lovely. Um, but really the message today is like, stay on your path. It's okay for the people don't get it. We don't actually live in a world that's very healthy. Like, what is normal these days is no longer normal, sorry, is no longer natural or healthy. So to go against the grain, to step outside the masses, to be a bit of a rebel, to put yourself first, to do all of these different things, you are kind of the anomaly, but you're the anomaly for the good of yourself and the good of everyone, really, right? So keep going. Um, I am doing a free, actually two free calls on Monday, the 21st of October. Um, these are really just like sharing spaces for like-minded people. Like, if you've been going through challenges, if you're in a personal development journey, if you'd like to meet some like-minded people, maybe you'd like to share and ask questions, maybe you wouldn't, maybe you just like to listen in. Um, like whatever feels good for you. I'm hosting 2 hour long spaces for this, which is called a safe space for sharing your way, which means that you can show up and ask questions, you can show up and listen in, you can have your camera on, you can have your camera off, like whatever works for you. This is your space. And so I'm doing two classes. One is at 8 a.m. UK time on Monday, the 21st of October, and the other one is 1:45 p.m. for an hour on Monday, the 21st of October. So the 1:45 p.m. one is probably also good for people in the US. It gets a little bit early if you're on Pacific time, but Eastern time it's 8:45 a.m. So that's not the end of the world. And then the 8 a.m. class, for those of you in Australia and New Zealand, that's kind of early evening for you guys. So hopefully there's a space for everyone to come and share in a way that works for you, or just to be in the space of people who are real, not putting on a mask, and just to see how that feels. So I would love to see you there. You will find the link to sign up below. There's two sign up forms on the page when you get there, one for the 8 a.m. class, one for the 1:45 p.m. class. And feel free to come to both if you can. The calls will not be recorded. There will not be a replay. Nothing that goes on inside that space will be shared outside the space because it's a safe space for sharing. And so if you do want that support, if you do want to be in that space, you will need to be there live. So info below. I hope to see you on October the 21st, and keep doing your good work because it is so, so needed. Take care.